Hi, it's you. Okay, cut that out. Okay. Hi, you are at SPED Talks with Jill Castle again. If you haven't already seen the difference between 504 and IEP, watch that one because that'll tell you the difference. Some of these might be a little repetitive because I want to make sure in case somebody watches one and doesn't watch another, they're still getting the info that they need. I'm just basically touching upon stuff like I've mentioned before. You can go to my website and you can look for Udemy codes and get more in-depth trainings on all my stuff. So this one we're going to talk about qualifying for a 504. It's a civil rights act. It's not special education like an IEP. Like I've said in my previous video, it's apples and oranges, totally different things. This one, you need to have a mental, emotional, or physical disability, and it's documented by a doctor. It's not something that you need to get one of those big psychoeducational evals done in order to qualify for. You just literally need a note from your doctor stating that you have a disability, and then that disability has to impact one of your major life activities like walking, talking, breathing, or learning. And so those are the two qualifying things for a 504. So a lot of people are afraid if they get offered a 504 for their kiddo and they think they're getting cheated because they need an IEP, and I want to clear that up because that's not always necessarily true. It's really about how either of them are implemented. It's not really about which one you have. So it takes a lot to follow up and collaborate and make sure that it's being implemented properly, and that's a whole nother topic. But you know, having one over the other, it just depends what your needs are because they're just different. A 504 does accommodations like I've harped on in my other videos. There's a big difference between accommodations and modifications. Accommodations, you're just making it easier to have access to what everybody else has access to, but you're not really changing the curriculum. Modifications, you're actually changing the content in an IEP, and that's more applicable to an IEP. So for 504, for accommodations, some of the things that we look at are like, you know, preferential seating, more time on tests, maybe more time for homework, maybe cutting your homework down a little bit so that once you've demonstrated knowledge, you don't have to do 100 more problems because that child can't attend or gets exhausted because of their disability or whatever, a whole myriad of other reasons that you might need to not spend 4 hours a night on homework. So you might need those things cut down. It also includes behavioral reinforcers. Some kids need those to keep on track, especially our littles. You know, sometimes they need lists on their desk, or you know, things they can check off, or more constant reinforcers because they can't delay their gratification like most of the kids their age. So maybe they need quicker reinforcements. Things like that can be built in as an accommodation. Summaries of what you're going to learn, or learning ahead of time. Like sometimes if you can get PowerPoints or the lessons and they can be pre-taught to your kid, then when they go in and they listen to a lecture, they can attend better because they know a little bit more what they're talking about and they can stay engaged. Or whether they have vision or auditory issues, those might be really helpful accommodations. Those are all things. And then there's assistive technology, which is a whole nother video as well. But you know, there's talking to speech to text, Dragon, and things like that for writing papers or taking notes. There's taping things. There's maybe kids that are having trouble with typing on the computer, or they get tired doing those things. There's a ton of AT out there. So that could also be something that could be looked at for accommodations for a 504. So that's just a little snippet. I'm just doing little snippets to let you know. There's a lot more trainings, and there's a lot more vlogs on YouTube. So check it out. I hope I'm helpful. I'm going to share my experience with you, and I hope it makes a difference. Thanks.